this looks good. Oh my God,
this is all right, so now we're at our plate of the day, the journey of self-love.
Ooh.
Namaste, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
So I feel like we've pretty much been talking about this, right? Because self-love, first of all, 2020 has come in with such a force, and all of 2019 there was a lot of shutting seasons. I think started in September, and it's been like this crazy journey. And I know definitely in my life there's been a lot of like roller coasters, and I've always prided myself in being a person who's had their shit together, and if I don't have my shit,
at least Dike had their shit,
or at least.
At least we look like it.
Right. And then like the thing is that I was so good at presenting to have my shit together that I started to believe in my own head that the way in which I was managing my life had my shit together until the universe, I'm telling you, in the end of 2020 and even still now, because it's like, oh, me está dando cocotazo. It's like, bitch, yeah. I thought I taught you, boop. I thought I taught you, boop. And it's not. And I think that has a lot to do. They say, again, going back to Vida always says, elevation requires separation, right? And so the more that I am elevating in whatever elements, and I've had a lot of blessings come my way, the more that in the separation I have things that are pulling at my legs and don't want to see me win.
Well, I think a lot of it's not even pulling at that. I think a lot of it is a lot of our own ego. It's also a lot of our own persona.
Oh, big time, yes.
Because we're a creature of habits.
Yes.
And as Latinos, we have these habits that we just can't seem to break. And we can't seem to break those cycles, those habits, those situations that, and I tell my dad this, like when we have our really deep conversations, I tell my brother this, like, man, like you keep telling me the same story again. Like, what is it in that lesson that you're not learning?
Bruh.
That God keeps trying to teach you that lesson over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
It's very real.
Yeah.
And people don't want to understand that. It's like, if you keep falling on the same block, like if you keep falling on the same street step, like if you keep missing that same step, why? Like, take a step back. It's not the universe. It's not God. It's not the people around you. It's you.
It's you.
Yeah. Yep. You don't want to learn that lesson. God has been trying to tell you, God, the universe, your spirits, your people, your guidance, your spirit animals. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. They're trying to teach you.
Right.
And
Yo, porque eres tu masoquita.
Yeah. And at some point they're gonna stop. I feel like,
and you know what? And I actually I'll counter that. I don't think they ever stop. I think that ego versus...
You're going to keep pulling that rug from under your feet until you learn that damn lesson.
I was going to say, what happens is that our egos sometimes get big enough where we convince ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, we're abandoned, we're lost, like, they're not going to teach me the lesson anymore because they've already given up on me. And that's shit we tell ourselves because if they've given up on us, then that's it. And so we don't have to pick ourselves back up anymore because even the spirits or God or whatever you believe in has given up on us. And that's not true.
Like, I see it with him, like hurting with the pain with his mother, the pain with his brother, the pain with just the family in general, where it's like, I'm strong, I'm independent, I got this, fuck you guys. But then you run back, you hurt.
Right.
They love, like, you want their love, you want their acceptance, you want them to be there with you, and they just can't be.
Right.
And it's really hard because, again, as Latinos, we're just kind of like generalized to have to be connected to every single member of our family.
Rib by rib.
Like every single one, every primo, every fucked up cousin, every tia with a problem. I'm the first one to say, like, I love my mother. Like, my mother, my dad is the love of my life, and my mother has been the best wife, mother, parental there's ever been on this planet. She's taken us everywhere from trips to getting donuts to going to the library to being a real mother of what a mother should be. But there's also a side of me that will always know that I will never be her.
Yeah.
And I have to be very real about it.
Right.
Her relationship with my father, what she's tolerated as a woman, she's gone through as a mother. Even some of the disrespectful ass shit I've sent as her kid.
Right. Right.
As a mom now that I'm a mom, I'm like, yo, like, damn, how did my mom even deal with that?
Right.
And I realistically, and it's funny because my mom is barely 5'1". Like, she's barely 5 feet. She's 4'11".
Wow.
She's blanquita as ever, like milky white.
Yeah.
Salvadorian. And I've always said, I don't ever want to be like my mother. And she's an amazing, phenomenal woman. I just don't feel like I could ever do to par to who she was.
Yeah.
As a woman that cooks and cleans and slaves over her family and her kids and her husband and her job and works and is independent. And that was too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those cycles are those one things, those situations where I'm like, yo, yo no quiero ser así. And it's funny because God says, joke's on you, bitch.
Exactly. Ping pong, like my mom
Why?
says.
Because now my daughter, I'm 5'8". I'm darker than my mother. Am I dark enough? No, I'm still white.
Yeah.
But my daughter, guess what? She's definitely 3 shades darker than me.
Yeah.
And the doctor already told me my daughter's going to be 6 feet, 6'1".
Wow, she's going to be
everything I couldn't have done in my own modeling career.
Yeah.
Her dad's 6'5".
Yeah.
I'm 5'8".
Yeah. She's got it. She ain't going to be short.
So literally, I ended up everything I didn't want to be, which was the opposite of my mom. Short and pale.
So Jayla, so tell me a little bit. So definitely it sounds like we have generational cycles that we feed into. How have you sort of fought for your journey of self-love? You shared a little bit about some of the things that you've had to deal with in your past. And none of what you have accomplished would have happened if there wasn't a way in which you were fighting for yourself and for what you wanted every day. What are some of the techniques or things or mantras? How do you get by day to day in order to, get out of bed and still fight for what you want despite the generational tendencies that you have?
Well, I remember one of the first times that completely changed my life. So I remember growing up my whole life. I come from a very Central American family, like I said, very traditional. And my uncles, my aunts all lived literally down the street. We could walk to each other's houses. It was part of our exercise routine. We would all go walking into Tia, and we'd pick up one Tia and go around and walk to Walmart, walk around and do that whole thing because, I was the bigger, chunkier girl. So we need to go exercise. And I remember walking into my uncle's house and my Tio would be like, "Hi, Tio, how are you?" "Ay, es que tú estás gorda, cipota. ¿Qué te pasó? ¿Por qué estás comiendo tanto? Mariana, ¿por qué tu hija está así?" And they talk very like, okay, hi, Tio. I just wanted to say hi. Why are you judging me? What the fuck, bro?
Story of my life.
And I remember that at that time, I think the last blowout, and I think it was literally the most life-changing event I've ever had, was when I was dating a Dominican guy. He now works for NASA. In Maryland. We both have chased our dreams individually, which is great because I feel in a weird way, influence each other.
Good.
Shout out to him. Lives in Maryland. He's been doing his thing. We have not talked in years, but I remember that we were together, and it was the first time I think ever in my whole entire life I actually felt loved, where I felt happy, where he didn't care what I looked like. He cared about me. He cared about my personality, my hard work, my passion, my dedication, what I wanted to do with my life. And it was really hard to be, while I was finally happy in my life, to have my parents attacking me with hey, you need to have weight loss surgery. Hey, you, and to hear these words from my mother's mouth really killed me for a long time. And it took me a minute to forgive her. And it was you're fat. You're never going to be beautiful. And it was her attempt at making me lose weight. Wow. It was her attempt at, I had already gone to LA Weight Loss, Jenny Craig, you name it. And I had been through all of it. because I lived in a whitewashed world in Boca Raton where skinny was the thing.
Yep.
And even when I was skinny, and now I look at pictures and I'm like, yo, I was like a fucking stick compared to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I thought I was fat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that just wasn't okay. And at 275, to finally feel like I was beautiful and loved and have my own mother tell me, you're fat, you're never going to be beautiful, was the first time I ever felt like I said, fuck you to anybody.
Yeah.
Including myself. Yo, fuck you. Get out of your own head. You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous, whoever the fuck you are. You work hard. You have a house. You have this. You take care of yourself. You take care of everything you got around you. You work hard. You hustle.
Yeah.
So where is there less love for that? And it's funny because one of the people ask me all the time, like, yo, you've lost 120 pounds. I've just recently gained 30. Like, how has that process been for you? And the shittiest part about it is that I feel like everybody now treats me just like a piece of meat. It really fucking sucks. Because I know the intentions. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't help but I will never forget the love of the man who loved me at where I was for who I was and have seen the right intentions from somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
To now being at a different position where people hit you up, they DM you, they come and hit you up because, oh, esa carita, or your eyes, or oh, you're so sexy, or oh, blah.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
I'm a fucking human and I don't like to feel like a piece of meat. That's part of the reason why modeling has been such a difficult career for me. Yeah. Because I feel like, and there, I know there's substance. I know there's so much work that goes involved in that. So much. As a model, yo, being out there, feeling that vulnerable, having to do that much work, it's physical work, it's mental work, there's so much to it. Right. And a lot of people don't see it. And I give that same respect for modeling, for DJing, and for acting. Because even for acting, like people are like, oh, you're just going to remember some lines and be on TV.
That is not acting.
Absolutely not. When you're acting, you gotta fall into a whole persona. You gotta become a whole nother person and survive that person. Yeah. Yep. Like there's even for DJs, like I give so much respect for DJs for the same reason. You got to remember BPMs at the same time as you got to talk to your friends and get drunk and be out there and do this and transition and have a good set so you don't look like shit. Right. Right. Yes, it's really such a false. There's so many false connotations, and you're exactly right. It makes it so much harder to like exist and like love yourself because what people are now responding to, like as you glow up and as you, because like even for example myself, Skittles and I both have been like working out and focusing on our health. Look, I'm 28. I have motherfucking diabetes. I need to start working out because I think it'll stop me from drinking because I can't drink and work out, girl. I do boxing. I can't even do regular shit. I go to boxing. Why? Because I yoga. Yeah, like yoga. And I do yoga there too. I have a metal plate in my neck. I have back problems. Like yoga has been such a huge life aid. But like, let's be real. Yoga's expensive. Yo, all the shit is expensive. Even my boxing, like it's all expensive. But people just think like, oh, we do this to be cute. No, this shit costs money. Yeah, this shit literally it's like, okay, are we gonna go be and focus on our mental health and focus on our self-love, right? And give up on food or rent or priorities or bills. Like it's really hard to have to pick and feel guilty about having to love yourself. Yes. Yep. And then that's why it also kind of makes it like, you know, like in the progression of like trying to be healthier. So like, you know, in the past 2 years, I've lost 30 pounds and I'm still in a place where like when I look in the mirror, I can't see that I lost a damn pound, like not one. Like it literally, people treat you different. Totally different. I've gained 30 pounds. Yeah. And people are like, damn, Jay, you lost so much weight.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you look thick in the right places. I'm like, it's because I've gained 30 pounds because my ass ain't depressed no more. Going through that separation depression and that divorce depression. I'm still going through a divorce battle. I've been going through a divorce battle for years now.
Yeah.
And it sucks to have to go through all that, and your body physically changes.
Yeah.
Your mental health physically changes. Your heart, your persona physically changes. So how do you maintain who you truly are through the hurt of what is now adulting? Adulting, because adulting means having kids, paying bills, being married, in a relationship, wanting to change your career, starting a new business, being an entrepreneur. All of that is included in all those realms.
Yep. And then you get people like applauding the shit out of you. And in a way too, like when you see certain people applauding it, it's like, yeah, I'm glad you're applauding it, but I wish you would have applauded who I was when I was who I was always. Or, hey, maybe I would have gotten to this point of self-love and success with more support that wasn't attached to an outcome that you get out of me. So it's like, oh, you know, you're skinnier now, and now, you know, now.
Well, that's why I don't take my social media serious. Like realistically, like, I've been in this game for 12 years. 12 years.
Yeah.
I know the best of the best. I've worked with the best of the best, including Alex Sensation, and you name it, I've been there.
Right.
I'm not even at 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
That's how real this shit is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not out there chasing certain things. I know it's a part of my job and I have to maintain it.
Right.
But I'm not fixating my life. I've had people that used to be my interns that have had 4 years worth of better contracts than me.
Wow.
And I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars that I need as a single mother.
Yeah.
Because they're men, or because they're in their different game, or because they're different people. I haven't gotten that. I've not gotten one single radio contract in 12 years.
Jeez.
And I've worked with iHeart, Univision, La Mega, Cox Media Group, you name it. I've worked with the best companies, and I've been part-time 80% of the time.
Wow. Yeah, people.
And the times that I've been full-time has never been contracted. And I have people who have worked way down below me, but because they have a niche or a gimmick, or because they're men, they have surpassed me. I should have given up years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Yeah, and honestly, but like, and it sounds like even as you've been talking about your journey, though, the moments in which like your head pops back out and you're peaking and you're like getting things is tied to moments where you feel like you are closer to a certain level of happiness, or with yourself, like with yourself.
Oh yeah, self-love has 1,000%. And I think, I mean, I've seen you go through your highs and lows, Skittles, like literally. And like, I feel like in a weird sense, when we have that validation of bluntly, fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for me. And it really feels shitty to get to that point.
Yeah.
Though, because you don't want to tell your family and your friends, go fuck yourself.
Right.
You don't.
But sometimes you have
I remember I remember having a heart-to-heart with my cousin months ago at her children's 1-year-old birthday. And she was like, I'm mad at you. You think your Instagram friends are better than us. And I'm like, why do you think I'm home? Oh, because you got a bougie-ass radio job, and that's what your mom told us. I said, I came home because I just went through some domestic violence, and I literally had to throw up my flag because I wasn't doing anything but doing Lyft in New Jersey without my daughter and trying to heal.
Yeah.
But none of you take 1 second to ask me anything. You assume by what you see in that perspective of social media.
Yeah.
So how do I have to go walking around saying like, hey guys, like how my ass be like,
yeah.
Really?
You have to parade your what you're healing from.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with your own family. And I love them, and we go through it, and we learn through it, and we grow through it. And that's all I can ask for. But that doesn't mean the journey there isn't hard, because it's like a black cloud. Like, you're not allowed to talk. Like, at least for me in my Central American life, we're not allowed to talk about, like, hey, I'm going through a divorce.
Right,
hey,
right.
I went through domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
no.
He's cheating on me.
Those things, esos casos no se hablan. Esa cosa no se habla.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, like, gasp. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know? And like, for me, I've been the opposite. I'm like, yo, I'm talking about my domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yo, my ex-husband hates it, and that's good for him. He can hate all he wants. He shouldn't have put me through it.
Right.
But this is my way of healing, because it's not only healing for me, it's healing for my daughter. It's healing for other people that are dealing through it right now. Absolutely. That it cannot and do not feel like they have the voice to be strong enough to move forward. And I know what that feels like. And I know what it feels like to have to be an advocate. And not be an advocate at the same time. How can I talk about it and not talk about it at the same time?
Okay. Yeah. It's a conundrum. I honestly, I think it's such a, first of all, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that where you've come is tremendous, and like, that is enough. And I think that the word enough, we don't give it enough weight. Like, when someone says, "Oh, that's enough," we don't like put it anywhere. We're like, "Oh no, it's never enough. It's never enough." No. Sometimes enough is enough.
I literally am working 2 to 7 Monday through Friday. I have events every night after work. I try to rest before work every day. And then every weekend I have something to do. And I still feel, being in New York City without my daughter, having her in Florida with my parents, that I am every day not doing enough. Because I'm still struggling financially.
Right.
Because I still don't have furniture in my little trap house. I'm still sleeping in an air mattress or a mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping on couches for the past 4 months trying to get back on my feet. I still have to figure out how to pay my car, my mortgage, her school, her bills, her clothes, her food. Help my parents out on top of that.
Yeah.
And then still pay my New York rent.
Which ain't cheap.
My food, my transportation. Come on.
Yeah. But the effort coming out of you, like that, it is enough, and it is always just a matter of time. And I hate that. I used to hate that phrase, a matter of time. I used to be like, shove it up your ass, like, a matter of time. Yo, it always is that.
Listen, there's one rule that I've been living through. This is like I feel like it's like my mantra. There's 2 things I learned when I started in radio. And shout out to Terry Alexander. He is an old school radio producer, executive. Like, he's amazing. And I haven't seen him in years. And he taught me one of these things when I first started in radio as an intern in promotions. And he told me, he goes, the best way to move up is to move out.
Mm-hmm.
And out of your comfort zone. That's why I tell everybody, the worst that could happen to me right now is I took a chance moving to New York, and the worst that could happen is I'm going to go home to my beautiful 2-bedroom condo on the fucking lakefront in Florida with my house and my car and my parents 10 minutes from my crib. The worst that can happen, I'm going to go live a regular schmegular
life.
job.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
And realistically, that's what a lot of these people have been doing nowadays. Is it what I'd be okay with? Absolutely not.
Right.
But it's the worst.
Yeah.
If that's the worst,
I'm good.
Which is what led to rule number 2. And this is literally, I live by this. I don't have any tattoos. And I think if I did get a tattoo, it's probably, other than my daughter's lips on my body, it'd probably be this. Because I literally, like, it was life-changing for me when I heard him say this. Temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement.
I like that. Temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement.
Yeah, I love that.
And I share this all the time, especially with people that share with me their struggles. I'm like, yo, temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement. You got to temporarily struggle to go through what you need to do so you could permanently get to where you need to be. And it's not easy. It's not fucking easy. It really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the reality. It's a temporary inconvenience.
Yeah.
For you to permanently get to where you need to be, whether that's with your family, your relationship, your kids, your career, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there was one piece of advice that you would give to anyone who's struggling with anything, right? Any number of things, who are fighting in their self-love journey or having a hard time, what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement. And the one thing that has been the biggest issue for me, which has been patience. Patience and enjoy the journey. Because that goes hand in hand. Because if you don't have patience, you're only getting from the start to the finish.
Right.
So if you need to have patience, enjoy the journey while you're having the patience. And that's literally what I'm doing now. We were talking about this earlier on the walk.
Yeah.
That I was like, yo, for the first time ever, like, you know, I've been in this game for 12 years. So 3 months into being back in my role in New York, it's not like I haven't been in New York. It's not like I haven't worked for the same company. It's not like I haven't done New York radio. But I'm already like, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Like, where's my next, like, I want endorsements. I want TV spots. Like, I want TV time. Like, where's my next, like, where's my modeling? Like, where, like, the Latina in me wants it all now.
Yeah. No te deja. Te
but
pica.
what's happened, that being now in my 30s, I've learned that when I look back, I'm like, damn, I've had some really, really great times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? I never enjoyed them because I was too busy trying to get to, like, who do I need to meet? Where do I need to go? What's the finish line? Where is all this? That I haven't enjoyed the journey. So I think now that I'm in a certain place in my life, like, I actually want to enjoy the journey. I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to feel like I'm fucking up. I don't want to feel that even generational guilt. Where it's like, I'm going out on a Tuesday. Like, even that stupidity is a guilt for us.
Yeah.
You're going out during the week? How could you do that?
Right.
We only go out on weekends. During the week, you got to behave and cook and clean and be inside your house and work. And you have a 9 to 5 and cállate. But reality is, we're creatives.
We lit 24/7.
That is not actually, our Monday through Fridays are a little bit busier than our own weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's be real. But guess what? Our families, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, our primos, our tias and tios don't understand that.
Yeah. Different world up here. Different world.
It's a totally different world.
Yeah.
So it's like finding that middle balance of trying to
everything.
Put all those worlds together.
Skittles, you got a piece of advice?
Girl.
Skittles is processing.
I've literally been
this
just
is
like
the
listening.
quietest I've ever heard you. It was either the proper 12 or the knowledge. And I'm just going to go with the knowledge so I can make myself feel better.
No, he's digesting every word you're saying.
I feel like there are so many points that you've made during your talking that I've connected with, and that's why I feel like I don't need to interrupt it with like any of my input, because I feel like it's important for you to get that out. Oh my God. It was advice for...
Yeah, any self-love advice.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, so for me, I feel like self-love is always like an evolution for me. I feel like it's been this, when we talk about self-love and the journey, it's full of highs and lows, and you're always evolving and things are always changing as time goes on. So it's hard for me to really say that there's like one solid piece of advice that I can give. But
what's made it easier?
I think what's made it easier is...
Or at least more... Okay, so let's switch it up. Because easier is one thing. There's a lot of things that make things easier. Alcohol
makes things
easier. drugs make things easier. Being around enablers makes things easier.
Way easier.
So what makes you
Okay.
what makes you feel,
I got it.
What makes you feel less guilty about having self-love?
I think you kind of literally just touched upon it, is literally making sure that I surround myself with people who believe in the journey, who believe in the...
That's super important.
Who believe in the evolution, who believe
super important.
in you, because whenever... Like you're at your lowest, those are the people that are gonna bring
and
you
it's
back
funny
up.
because when you're at your lowest, you attract and disattract the people that are needed and not needed in your life. And I literally had to go through that with my separation and leaving my marriage. I literally lost everybody who I thought were my closest, my sister, my family. Like I lost my family. And it was so hard to go from zero almost again.
Right.
And not know who to trust. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think it's super important. But I feel like the more you love yourself, the more you attract the absolute people you need in your life. Like I have now, in the last 3 or 4 months, have never in my life, and it includes you guys, because we've been talking for a couple months now, just on different between tragos and different events and different simulations. But it's like a weird attraction magnet to how when your energy is good, even if you don't love yourself fully, you don't have to love yourself
'cause that's an everlasting journey.
And nobody ever does. That journey takes forever. But the minute you finally say, I'm putting me first, it's like the universe, the spirits, God, whatever you decide to believe in, legit brings anything and everything to you. I was in Florida for 5 months, never thinking I'd come back to New York ever again. I had given up on my journey here. And I got, hey, we got a morning show. You sure you don't want to do the more show? You said no 4 times? Cool. How about afternoons? Ma'am, are you coming? And I had to look at my paycheck. I had to look at my situation. I had to look at my daughter. I had to review. I had to go back and be like, yo, what do I do? Do I leave my daughter and chase our dreams? But then again, this is what our same thing our parents used to do, what our grandparents did.
Hello.
So why is this not the new version of the American dream?
Hello.
Yeah. It's so funny that this is your story, because for me, I'm kind of going through a very similar situation where, like, for 5 years, I had like a full-time, like, salaried music teacher position. Yeah. But the voice in my head was saying, you don't want to do this. This isn't where you want to be. This isn't that, you shouldn't be in this position. And for 5 years, I fought that voice, and I tried to do my best at that job. And
safety is a bitch. Let me
at some point, I literally,
that guilt of having to feel security.
Yes.
Especially in our culture. Security work-wise. Security financially. Yep. Security home-wise.
Yeah. Yes. And to get to the point where you were finally going to be like, I'm going to leave this situation because it's unhealthy for me, and I need to do what's going to make me happy. And it was one of the craziest... It was one of the craziest, hardest decisions I've ever made.
One of the biggest acts of self-love.
I remember when my dad...
And most important.
I used to be a preschool teacher and a nanny. So when I started nannying, the lady that I was nannying for, rich white lady from Boca, her daughter was Italian and Dominican. But her daughter did not know her Dominican side. So as a Latina, I was the one who showed her how to show herself what self-love for her body, for her curves, for her situation. Especially back then, I was 275. So, of course, I was like, no. Right. And I started working her when she was 4. Wow. And now, like, the last time I saw her, she met my 5-year-old daughter.
Wow. Wow.
And we met at Disney, one of my favorite places in the fucking planet.
Me too.
You know, and it's hard when you hear these kids say like, hey, I want you to be proud of me. I'm 30 days sober. I'm going through rehab and she's 18. You know, it's hard going through these situations when you know that these kids are dealing with so much pain and hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like for you to have to like, again, grow up and have to say like, yo, what is my self-love? Like, what is my own value?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the journey, man. And I think that that's why, and thank you all both for sharing all of that. Like, I think that that is why when people say that, oh, we're our ancestors' wildest dreams, self-love and an act of self-love, if that is all I can teach the generation after me, my nieces, whatever, if I ever have a kid,
yes.
that, because it is,
like,
actually, now that you literally just said that, a thought that had occurred to me earlier in the conversation, but we weren't in this section, and I wanted to make sure that I was saying it here, was like, one of the ways that we as the younger generations to our older generations are teaching is by simply existing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
hard body, like being someone who's like gay, playing with gender roles, you know, coming from a super traditional Catholic Puerto Rican background, like
I was an altar server
know?
until I was 18 years old. I got kicked out. I got kicked out by my own godparents.
Wow.
My padrinos were like, "You're a master of ceremony. You need to leave. You're too old for this."
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it was really hard to have to like, okay, so where the fuck do I fit in? Like, I don't know where to fit in anymore.
But
and even for me, like, you know what you're saying, like, it was hard because my mom didn't accept, like, and I love my mother, and this is like such a hard topic for me to talk about because I don't ever want her to look bad.
Right.
But I think, and this is a conversation her and I have had, she just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Where we come from in El Salvador, there just aren't black people. There's gray, there's indios, there's indigenous,
Right.
but there's no black. Where in Costa Rica is the complete opposite.
Yeah, mad black.
Yeah.
We go to Limon and it's black.
Right.
You go to near Panama, it's black.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, growing up in that weird space where my mom didn't understand my dad and our cultures didn't mix, but they were so close to each other, it was just very confusing going through all of that and knowing what I could and could not date, who I could and could not be. And I think for me, I grew up in a lot of boundaries.
Yeah.
I grew up with like, okay, this is what you do. You become an altar server. You do your first communion. You get your baptism. You know, you do your confirmation, then you get married, and then, like, you know, it's very traditional.
It's the ritual.
You know, and that's just not, but I always felt the untraditionalist because I was the first female altar server. Like, I remember the guy who did my quince was Padre Alberto Coutier, who was the same one that did Celia Cruz's wedding and the same one who got caught on South Beach with some girl making a baby. Like, so, like, you already know, like, I did not grow up normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would get recognized in Costa Rica for being on international TV, for being an altar server, not for being a model, a TV personality, a radio personality, but for being a girl dressed in a red gown before men, where that was not a tradition in the Catholic Church. So it's like, I feel like my whole life I've been fighting boundaries, whether it's with weight, whether it's with gender, whether it's with religion, whatever it is, I feel like that's just what my whole life has been.
Right.
And it's hard because a lot of, like, I think this is one of the first times ever in my life I've been able to share this much and feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
And to that point of literally you are like, just by simply existing, you are educating and you are, you know, pushing forward the boundaries of
everything, of the conventions.
Everything,
of the conventions.
It's like a Latino elevation.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should call it now.
Latino elevation. No, and like on that note, like really, again, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I think that how you speak is radical. I think, like Juan is saying, your existence is radical. I am so happy to know that your daughter has a mother like you to look up to. And I'm so glad that the people who watch you, whether they're watching you because they're haters or they're watching you because you're supporting you, what you you are doing is radical and it's brave and you're so fearless. And I'm so happy you were with us today. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you guys because shows and people like you guys, I'm very, again, because of my traditions, we're very protective of like how we can talk, where we can talk, what we can say. So to have outlets like this and people like you guys that make me want to continue, like feel comfortable to break that mold, to feel comfortable to have those conversations, I think is very important.
Yes.
And I really do appreciate you guys, like more than beyond belief. And
thank you.
I'm so proud of you guys, and
proud
congratulations with what's coming for 2020.
Yeah,
we coming for ya. We coming for ya. All right, Jayla, any? All right. Go ahead.
No shot taking yet.
All right,
Damn.
Stay over there with your little
Dying
germs.
already.
So Jayla, tell us, where can we find you? Tell us your show times. Any shout outs you have?
Man, just shout out to all the Latinos, all the Latino exes, all my Latinas who feel like I do and like we do.
Yes.
Fighting through adversity and feeling like we can't, and feeling like, you know what, dreams are going to be made true. Like the American dream is our dream. It is whatever we make it.
Yes.
So stop going to feel your parents' traditions. Stop trying to feel like you got to succeed to everybody's other roles. Whatever you want your American dream, your Latina dream to be, you can do that.
Yes.
And I've seen so many of my own fellow women create that, and it's a beautiful thing. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Jayla, IamJaylah. You already know. And man, just let's keep hustling.
Yes,
man. Let's just keep breaking cycles and creating better futures and trust funds for our babies.
Trust funds.
Listen, I love my Jewish community. Like my mom makes a badass matzo ball soup.
Hey.
Like I grew up with a lot of Jewish friends. Like I'm all for it, but I want some of them trust funds too, babe.
Trust fund baby.
So we need to create trust funds for our babies. Yo, let's do this.
Absolutely. Skittles, where can they find us?
Well, you guys can all find us on Ladies Who Brunch on Instagram. You can also find us on Ladies Brunch on Twitter. And also give our YouTube channel a fucking love. Ladies Who Brunch on YouTube, too.
A little.
And then you can listen to all our episodes on all your favorite streaming platforms.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for tuning in this week, guys. And until next time, bronche. Bronche, bronche. That's how we say brunch.
Here's to the ladies who say basic with their lunch.
You want that, bochin?